Hey everyone, I've decided that I am going to share my development process, just maybe it will help somebody, and we're going to create the BloxBot application. And we're going to use Visual Studio. We're going to write it in C#. With a WPF application, we'll be using Cursor and ChatGPT to help develop the prompts and have Cursor work on the code. And we'll see what we can create here. So in Visual Studio, we are going to create a WPF application, and let's just call it, we're going to say next, and we'll call it BloxBot. Okay. And we'll use .NET 10, long-term support. We'll create it. And this will create our empty shell that we're going to use for our application. Okay. Now, we're going to use ChatGPT and Cursor. So let me open up Cursor. And we're going to open our folder. So we're going to open a folder. And we're going to go to our user. And we have our basic application. There's nothing really in here. If we run BloxBot within Visual Studio, it will launch and display the window, and there's nothing there. Okay, and that's it. We have our program. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to ChatGPT, and we're going to have ChatGPT. We say we are creating an automation bot application that will control another application or game. We will be recording scripts of what keys are pressed and for how long, and delays between keystrokes. I want to use OpenCV, which is to read the screen images, graphics, pictures on the screen, to be able to read or see what's on the screen, to identify images and such, to help know where we are within the application or game. I would also like to be able to read text on the screen at various locations. So I would, nope, if I can type, need a NuGet to perform the OCR on the screen. I have created my C# .NET 10 WPF application shell called BloxBot. and have also opened that project within Cursor. I would like you to create a prompt to provide Cursor to create the basic shell of the application. I would like it to be clean and professional and easy to navigate. The main view should have an option to select the process that we will be looking at. Now, if we're doing like Roblox or some other games that might have anti-cheat, we really can't access the memory of that. So that's why we're kind of going to look at OpenCV and controlling the screen, looking at the screen and making decisions based on what is seen. Okay. There should be a drop-down of active processes, and I should be able to then to select from that drop-down and have a button to select that process. I should then be able to see a capture of the window on my form to be able to create areas to compare and make decisions on. Oh, if I can spell decisions. Let's start with the beginning shell. I do not want to create too much that I have to fix. So let's get the basics of identifying the processes and capturing or viewing the application game. And we can make it. Please create the cursor prompt to do this. And I'll have it, so basically you can do this within Cursor, but I find running it through ChatGPT first and have it map out, and I can kind of review what it's going to do, what it's going to ask Cursor, and the instructions that it's going to give, and then I can provide it, and then we can test how it did. So we're going to just brief over this here. C#.NET 10 WPF application named BloxBot. Okay. First phase, simple, stable, maintainable, do not build script recording, OCR, OpenCV matching, or automation playback yet. This phase is for the selecting the target process and previewing, capturing its window requirements. Create a clean WPF layout, what the title is and some information about it. Add a target application selection. That's what we talked about. We want to be able to select our program. Only show processes that have valid main window handles and visible window titles. Avoid showing background system processes because those have nothing that we can capture. Add basic Windows capturing services. In structure, we want an MVVM style, which is model, view, view model. It's kind of a little separation of code. You'll have a view, which is what you see within an application. You have a model, which is the data. Then your view model is kind of what communicates between the view and the data. Add models, target process, add services, process discovery service, Windows capture service,
optional Win32 helper, main window behavior on startup, load available processes, refresh buttons to refresh the list, and so on. We kind of go through this. NuGet packages do not add OpenCV or OCR yet unless absolutely necessary. This phase should only be preparing the shell for the capture preview. Okay, and now that we have this, this is what we're going to feed into Cursor. So we can copy this prompt, come over to Cursor, and we'll just paste that prompt that ChatGPT created for us, and then we'll let it go. Now, the great thing about this is we're going to let ChatGPT and Cursor do the work for us, and we will instruct it. You know, it's great learning a programming language and how to code that will help you in debugging things, but really you get into a point where you're just becoming a prompt engineer because you can provide it to Copilot, you know, GitHub Copilot, Cursor, ChatGPT, whatever it is that you're using. Okay, and now Cursor is going to begin making modifications, and the changes are happening live when it does begin those changes. The changes are happening live within Visual Studio. Okay, and you want to make sure that your program is not running because it will try compiling and different things, and that can cause a conflict. So don't have your program running, make sure it's stopped, and then let Cursor do the changes that it needs, and it will update live within the program. You would probably see as it does make changes, you'll see changes within, like this is the XAML for your main view, the main window of the application, and Cursor right now is still making decisions. It's reading what is currently there and deciding what it needs to do to accomplish the prompt and tasks that we have given it. And we'll just let it go. We can use this for debugging. We can use this for even questions of code. If you already have a program that you've kind of been working on, you can have Cursor analyze that program. Say, please review this program, and so you understand what the program is, its current state, and what functionality is within the application. You can have it give a summary as well, so that you can see yourself what the program is or what it sees within the program. And we'll just let it continue to do its thing here. And I'm going to try to make this a little series of saying, hey, this is how I create this bot. I started and it was coming along. I mean, it had some great features that I was going to be recording, but I thought maybe people would like to see how I do this, or what my process is. And my process is definitely not the best process or the only process or anything like that. I'm just trying to share what I do and what you can do. Now, with Cursor, I mean, there is a fee. I do pay the $20 a month. So you only have so many tokens, like if you're doing the free version. Not saying you can't code with it, you can't have it do it. You're just not going to be able to do as much with it because you'll run out of your tokens. Okay, and ChatGPT you can use for free. But I also do a paid version of that as well. Providing images or having it generate images. So again, it does tokens, so it can cost if you wanted to use it more. But you're not limited to applications. You can create websites, you can create mobile apps, you can create really anything with this. You can create games themselves. But I figured, hey, let's automate a process. And I chose Roblox because Roblox, you cannot access the memory directly. Okay, they have anti-cheat and you can get banned. But we can look at the process,
We can look at what's on the screen and we can make decisions based on what we see. We can record. There's many recorders out there that will record your keystrokes, buttons you press, and in the order, and we'll just do it over and over and over again for those monotonous tasks. But I figured, hey, I'm going to create an application that I can really control and have a better ability of controlling games like Roblox or anything else that may have something on the screen that we can make decisions on and be able to accomplish it. Like I had a friend who created, like they've seen those word games where you have various letters. He developed so it would read those letter positions and then it would go through a dictionary and find all the words that were possible. And he was like, he had two machines running and he was first and second in the world because it just kept cycling through the game over and over and over again nonstop. And it's what you want to use it for. And playing Roblox, I know, can be a lot of fun for some, but there's some games that you have to do things over and over again, and you want all the money you can get to make your life easier within the game, whatever it is. And I'm just trying to learn myself and share what I've done. Now, we've kind of done what we have here. And it's like, so how to test it, basically open Notepad or whatever it is, anything that is visible title bar, hit refresh, and it should appear and pick your selected target to capture. And equipment offer returns a black state, but let's have a look at it here, because like we have Roblox that I've shown in here, and like we can move around and have our little man, gopher or capybara or whatever he is, but let's see what it's created here. And here we are. This is BloxBot. Okay, we have navigation, capture, automation, settings, and we have the drop down. What's in the drop down? It would be a list of applications. And now we can see, here's an issue. It has a list of items, but the text is almost white on white. It is hard to read. Okay. And so what we're going to do, I have another program that I use, okay, and it's called Snagit. You can use Snippet. I love Snagit. And I'm going to put a delay on here. And I'm going to click, this drop down. And so I can capture the whole thing. And now again, because I'm going to be changing the process, I'm going to stop the program. And I'm going to go and I can do this within cursor. I'm going to keep what it did. Okay. You can say it's looking good so far. Issue, the text in the dropdown is almost white on white and unreadable. Please help in resolving this. I have provided an image as reference. And then I can hit Control Z. See, that's the thing I want to forget. The one thing about Snagit is it'll pull it up in the other window, and I forget to hit copy. And the great thing is it'll show previous images that you've captured. But now that I copied it, I can paste it, and it'll paste my image in there. And that's where some of the tokens, because it has to read your image, but I give it as an example. I could give this to ChatGPT, I can give it to another AI, but I can also just paste it within Cursor itself, because it knows what it just did, and I can say, hey, this is kind of hard to read, and let it fix it. So we'll have that resolved. Let it go down. It's checking, so it's inheriting from the light system Chrome while text stays light, and it's now fixing the items pop-up style in the app.xaml. And that's like in WPF, you can create styles of how your combo box looks or functions, how your text box looks if they have rounded edges, corners, um, anything that you may change within there. When you add one, you can add it of a specific style that you've created. And that text box would then look like the other text box that you created, with whatever formattings that you've given it. And so, see, here's it's building, it's making changes, it's building, making sure that it compiles. We'll keep it. And then now let's run this again. And let's see if it's a little bit. Oop, and see here, this is some of the things that we kind of get into. Okay, we have errors. And again, we can take these and we can capture them. This is the great thing about AI. And I put the 5-second delay on there. But I can say, hey, you know what? I received this error. I can even come down to the error down here, but this kind of has everything that's in there. I can capture it. Don't forget to copy it if you're using Snagit. And I can come back to here. But now again, I want to stop my process and say, put this in here and just say, hey, I am receiving this error. And it will read what's on the screen there. It's a property through it. It tells it exactly where it is. Okay, so the error is on line number 102, position 14, and it'll read this. It's able to go through your code. So it's checking it around 102. The setter is likely using an invalid property binding. Resources isn't a dependency property, so it can't be set with a style setter. That's causing the crash. Moving on to the system color override, and it just tells you what it's doing. And so you can kind of read along. And here we've moved this. We'll keep what they have. And you can tell it if you like it or if you don't like the response. And then now let's try running our application here. All right, no crashes. Okay, and again, we are going to, now that looks much better, doesn't it? So we're going to come over here and we're going to find our Roblox. It's right here. Okay, and we can select that target, and ta-da, we have our window visible. Capture is successful. Now, it's a single one. We can have it, we'll have it have live update, so it'll be slightly laggy, but it will just show that we are capturing this screen now. And we can capture, I believe this will let us capture a picture of this, but we are now able to select that target. And here's another issue. We've selected it, okay? But we can't see it within the combo box. Okay, so we can give that an update as well, and we can capture this. Let's take off that 5 seconds, and we'll copy that. We're going to stop the program, copy here. We'll come back to cursor. Okay, we're going to say the combo box drop down looks great, and we are capturing the application we selected. But once the application is selected, again, the text in the combo box of the selected item is white on white. Please see this image of the issue, with the issue. And then I can paste that image of what we just did, but we can see that we are capturing our screen window. Oh, and I need to hit send. Okay, we are capturing our screen window. It is seeing it, it's taking a picture of it, and so we'll have a live update. We'll get to that point. We'll have a live update. You'll see the character moving. We'll be a little stuttery because we don't need to have one-to-one of everything that's kind of going. We just want it to say, do I see this screen? Do we see things changing? We have that update. But let's have it fix this again. And if there's anything that you have questions on or you want to see, please drop a comment, and I'll try to help you out. Or we'll look into adding those features that you maybe have a suggestion for. But, give it a like, give a follow. It'll be great. This is just something I kind of decided, I'm going to step back and I'm going to go from the beginning, and I'll just share my process so maybe someone will get the benefit of it. Because I know myself trying to figure some of these things out sometimes, it's nice to have someone just even walk you through the process of how they may think of something, how they may view something, and get ideas from there. So we're going to keep whatever they kind of put in there, and let's run this again. Okay, and let's see, now we have a darker thing here. Again, we can see it. We can go to the Roblox. We can select that target, and there we go. It's able to capture it. Now, here's one thing I'm going to do, okay? Because I know moving this thing around wherever it starts up, and we can adjust the size, and, make it, this is kind of how you've seen me with things. This is something that I like it to remember, because, if you're doing automation, if you're doing something, you want things kind of in the same position. So we're going to give one more prompt. Okay, and I'll use ChatGPT even for this. Okay, I have my shell, but I would like to add a feature where the application will remember settings within it. Not WH, was within. And also, I would like to remember where the form was when I close it, and the size, height, and width for the next time I open the application. Please provide the cursor prompt. And I use the both just to get, not doing all work in one, let ChatGPT do some of it and let cursor really do the work. When I'm doing like little tweaks, kind of like what we did with the error with the issue within cursor, like the application with the white on white not being able to read it, I'll just do within cursor because it just completed something I want it to be fixed. But now let's take this prompt and we'll provide it to cursor. Our program is not running. And let's give ChatGPT's prompt to it. And then once we get this done here, this will be, I think, the end of this little video here to get everyone started. And again, if you have any questions, any thoughts, please share them. This is a journey for everyone, and I just want to try to help. I've used so many videos from different people and how they do something, and I'm just trying to give back and share some of the things that I've done or how I do them. And let's see, we don't want to get disconnected over here. We'll move around a little bit. And we just let it do its thing. Once it's done, we will run the program. We will position it where we want, resize it, and then we'll close the program. And then it should remember where it was. And so when we launch it back up again, it should come back to right where we left it off. So here you can kind of see it's setting some default values, and then it will save those settings, and most likely we'll be saving it in a JSON file within the user app data for this particular program. And we'll let it finish doing its job, and then we'll give it a run and let's see how it did. Now it would be wonderful if Cursor or ChatGPT or any of these things got it right the first time every time, but that's just not reality. You'll have one thing you can do is you can go back to where you've been, and it will undo changes. That's very helpful. If just something totally gets messed up. And another thing is maybe connecting this to GitHub so you can back up your code. So if you make changes, you can, and something just gets totally messed up that you're not able to recover, then you can go back to that working code version and not accidentally destroy something. So that's just another thing that would be very helpful. And sometimes these processes, depending on how much information that is being done, can take a while. So be patient and just let it do its thing. I do other things as well, like while it's chugging in the background here, play a little game, do something. I could be over here chopping wood while it's doing its thing and making money. But the whole thing is we're not going to want to do this ourselves manually. We want the game to do this. And now our thing is done, but let's just finish chopping that tree. Okay, so now we can come back here. It is done, what it's changed, and we'll keep this. And then let's run our BloxBot again. And here, it kind of put in some default things, but let's just change here. Let's move it around. We're going to set to Roblox. We're going to refresh. Well, we don't need to refresh. We need to select our target. And there we are. So now we're going to move it over here. We're just going to close it. Now, if we run this program again, it remembers where we were. Okay, we could have it remember the program, but we may not want it to do that. We may not be running Roblox. So now again, we can select the target. We can kind of move this up. We're going to say, hey, I want this to take up half the screen. Move it over. We're looking good. And we're going to close our program now. Now if we run and launch it again, it remembers where our application was. Okay, so we've kind of created our shell. We've created the basic functionality of just saying, hey, let's identify what windowed applications are running that have a title bar that we can capture. We can select it. We can go to our Roblox. We can select that target and we capture the screen so we know that it is seeing. And we also now remember where we positioned this program, and we can continue on. I think that'll be all for this particular program. This little helper. Hopefully it helps. And if you have any questions, again, please leave a comment, like, share, follow, all those things, and we'll be here the next time. So you all take care and have a good one.